Okay, thank you for the opportunity to present this solution, Salesforce solution to you for the client, Universal Parcel Lockers. It's a multinational company operated in Europe among 10 countries. They have innovative parcel lockers, and they are expanding. They are expanding to the B2B space, which will have some implication for us. Now, first of all, upfront, I would recommend a single org strategy uh, because they are presenting us a unified process. There's no reason to break it out. And also, when you put things together, naturally, all the components, all the solutions are shared. Although you do have to do translation. And also, once you get into the B2B space, Europe is one big economy. I cannot imagine this company does not expand into international business. Currently, they operate in individual countries. Now, in the future, we'll serve companies, now send parcels across the countries would be important. So I recommend a single org. As for the compliance process have some variation, we can fully accommodate that in Salesforce. I will explain that in detail. We're going to enable multi-line. We're going to use the translation workbench, custom labels, visual first email templates. The experience builder also support translation. And before you log in, we can give you the language selector. Now we are also going to support multi-currency. With that, we look at the license that we would need for our people. The account managers will get Sales Cloud. They work on leads and opportunities. The compliance analysts, they get Service Cloud because they need an entitlement process. The couriers get Sales Cloud because if they get complaints, I would like them to be a part of the case team to solve it. So assume case access, give them Sales Cloud. So we give Sales Cloud to delivery staff with the same assumption. As for the executives, they need to look at all the records and do Einstein analytics. So we give them Sales Cloud and with EA. It's also called Tableau CRM. Now, as for our external users, customers, the customer managers, they have to serve as super users with serving us external dedicated admin. So we give them CC plus. The 400,000 pickup point managers, they only need the customer community given a large number and no special requirement. And as for the 25 million parcel recipients, they can open cases on web. They do not need license. So that's our license requirement. Now let's look at our role hierarchy. On the top, we have the executives, then we have 10 countries, and each country have their support team, complaint analyst. I did not draw it out, but they should be a manager over here. Under that, they are individuals. But for our purpose, this will work also. Now, the countries, each, I believe that a reasonable assumption is that a compliance analyst work at country level also, and then key account manager also work at the country level, and the delivery staff work at the country level because they deliver among the hubs. And then the couriers, they I assume they work at the region level, but if they work at the country level, it does not impact our solution. Now, on the region, we may have postal code level division, but we may not. So account manager may report to the regional manager or to the postal code manager. Now, our external CC Plus user is a per account role. This customer manager may report to account manager, or maybe this is a key account that will roll up to the key account manager. Now let's look at our system landscape. Let me make this slightly larger. Okay, our system landscape, we are going to use a customer community, Service Cloud, for document generation and signature. We use, I recommend SDocs and SSign, and we're also going to use Tableau CRM. For single sign-on, I recommend Okta, which is a cloud system outside of our firewall, but it does have a LDAP agent running inside our firewall to access our LDAP. Okta provide out-of-box API integration for user provisioning and deprovisioning. And for SSO, I recommend SP initiated single sign-on because we want to support deep links. people bookmark individual pages. Now, parcel tracking system, they have SOAP API, but after I considered the work over here, I decided not to use MuleSoft first, and then I thought about it that we are going to, if I assume their UI can change, you can use the Canvas API, and my recommendation is for them to develop a Canvas app to make it available in Salesforce to avoid Swift share. And then our ETL system is based on relational database because it's easier to hire relational database people to do data transformation rather than MuleSoft or other people. We do use the MuleSoft, which is our ESB tool, as the thin layer, which support bulk API and REST API to load data into Salesforce. And MuleSoft is recommended as ESB because it has a Salesforce connector, which support Comma D, support all the API, almost all the APIs of Salesforce for our purposes, bulk API, REST API, and SOAP API. And we between Salesforce and MuleSoft, we each way we use the OSJWT authentication, and I recommend two-way SSL, especially between MuleSoft and the financial system. We need a two-way SSL, and we also integrate with route optimization system. And with B2B, they have concern their batch process may not be adequate. I recommend them to move to near real-time service in the future. Our integration will definitely support that. And I'm not sure the shipping system is the same as route optimization or not. I assume they are at least integrated, and I assume this is a separate system or module we need to integrate with. We integrate with a government registration service using web services, and as for the Sender portal, the commercial site is dismantled. We're going to use customer community. As for private, we keep it for now until the steering committee make a decision. For mobile solution, the mobile solution, they are hiring a firm to do UI design. So it's not an out-of-box Salesforce thing, and also need to do to scan QR code and have offline. So I recommend to build a native mobile app using our mobile SDK, which wrap up the user agent flow on top of a single sign-on for them, and also wrap up the API and support offline capability with a secure store and a smart sync, and also support customer notification in the future when they need it. So ETL is used here. Sorry, this is long distance on the diagram. So now let's look at the ERD system. We start from a lead, which convert into account, contact, and opportunity, and we do use contract. Account is associated with product with a junction object of order opportunity. It has a lookup to product as well as PBE. I just draw one, and quote is a child object of opportunity, and then we have quote line item, and we use order for them to order parcels to be delivered, and which has a junction object order product over here. And we have product PB and price book. And after some, we have account and contact, of course, and the private was as well as commercial account are owned by account managers. And not I do not want to use a personal account over here because we cannot assume that the private accounts only have one person, because our families may have multiple members. Key accounts are owned by key account managers, and pickup points have its own contact, and also later we use territory management for that. So I make that a record type of account. We're going to have entitlement to enable entitlement process for case, and as a result, case will get case milestone. And we for a compliance request. For complaints, of course, we use case management owned by the analysts, and for compliant request, I also recommend to use a different record type of case owned by the compliance analyst. And then there's an offshoot custom object. I forgot to write a C over here. compensation. And then we have asset which need to be available in Salesforce. So we migrate the data over and keep it in sync. And record type is parcel arc and owned by system users. Now, integration. When we look at the integration patterns, we know that orchestration, data transformation, etc., are supported by ESB. That justify our selection of ESB. So now we go back to our data model, and we can start to look at our solution. Newcomer onboarding. This is our lead process and account management. So the prospective customer, they can submit a form that's web to lead, and later we saw the number is less than 500 a day, and we collect tax ID. These are all fields on lead, and then converted to account and contact. And we do need to encrypt tax ID. Since later we need the shield for some other purpose, we just use shield. Encryption, ASF stands for after safe flow, and it will send out an email alert and using VForce email template in the receiver's language. Yeah, the system automatically send this out because we use flow trigger. UPL exit 1,000 new forms to be submitted monthly, less than 500 a day. Prospects should be automatically validated in regional government. So registration based on their tax ID, and there we get our integration one. Salesforce use a platform event, do a remote process invocation through MuleSoft, which implement the command D to government system. We cannot assume it's real time. So when the response finally come back, either through push or pull, and we MuleSoft codes use the REST API to update Salesforce. And now let's go back to the requirement. Based on the text ID, if it is not correct, the form should be marked as requiring manual check. So we have the REST API MuleSoft can update this field. Account manager should be able to call a prospect directly. Click to call. I recommend to buy a solution. Lightning dialer is currently available in US and Canada only. UPS is going to negotiate. So negotiate is after lead conversion. This is the opportunity process. The fee covers all of these things. So we have we're going to use opportunity line items, and we'll use price book product PBE, and we do use the standard price book for additional things, and they do not provide international shipment. We have put a reminder in contract with their customer. The account manager usually prepare a few terms proposed and send them to prospect via email. So this is the quote process or a quote line item, email action using email template in per template folder. If the because we have multiple countries, we have email. We have an email template folder for each country, and use the right template over here. If the customer accept the percentage term, then the document is generated using SDoc. Then they assign send them an invitation to sign the document. After they sign, we assign envelope object would get an update upon signature. We have a trigger on that envelope, which automatically will invoke a QR job to create users for the customer. The reason we use QR job is that user creation with role cannot be mixed with DML, so we need a asynchronous job. QR job is by far more powerful than future. Has an advantage. Customer manager can manage his own company's pickup point. That's a So we need to grant their profile to be able to create this pickup point kind of accounts. And then if they create that, they need approval. So that's an approval process, kick off automatically after pickup is saved using the after save flow. Each point has an assigned pickup point manager, and they'll be assigned as the pickup point manager in the account team. The account record itself will be owned by internal account manager. And they can use this account to order pickup. This will be the ordering process, order product. The parcel pickup process. Customer users can order the parcels pickup from an approved pickup point. This is the ordering process. I recommend to use a screen flow, and on the back end, we use validation rules to make sure it's approved, and is also 1 day in advance for each parcel. The pickup manager fill recipe details. This is a relatively tedious process for our client if we do not make a Git screen. So I recommend to add LWC to screen flow to make it pixel perfect, efficient for our users. And they can also pick this from map. So we can use the LWC map based component to develop a map. The ordering flow should be simple and require as little step up as possible. So this is a custom UI using LWC with Apex tree, with Apex backend. We can add we can auto populate fields, auto complete, do auto completion and auto correction of their input. It should be possible to upload a CSV file. LWC will support drag and drop, and we're going to use integration to send the file to MuleSoft to parse and return back record. That's our second integration. Is real time because the customer is waiting over there, and upon the record returning back, if it is a failure, we tell the user maybe the format is off. We give them a standard template recommendation. If it is a success, we create the records. The new parcel should be registered in the shipping system. This is our integration 3. Upon parcel integration, we use platform event to send the information to shipping system via MuleSoft. And if shipping system is different from route optimization system, here we also need to send that to route optimization. And when we get back a PDF asynchronously, and we use the REST API from MuleSoft to write the document into Salesforce. And during the next business day, the courier is going to collect all parcel from pickup point, and each courier is going to visit every day between 10 and 20 locations. So this is definitely large. Wait a second. Oh, so the courier were able to get their route from the shipping system with the and route optimization system. So they must be integration support here. Okay. And also this pickup will be large data volume, too large volume. We keep the data off platform. When a courier takes the parcel, he scans the QR code from label via the mobile app. We decided later that we're going to use a native mobile app, so this does not apply anymore. And after the QR code has been scanned, sender cannot cancel the parcel anymore. So we're going to have put a validation rule over here to guarantee they cannot cancel the parcel. In case of internal issue, the mobile would support offline capability. The sender of employee should be able to check the tracking status of each parcel directly in their portal. And for each parcel for the last 5 years, huge amount of data. Keep it up platform. Use a Canvas app built with Canvas SDK. Use sign request. Make sure the connected app user policies, admin approved users are authorized, and we add the not the employee, the user. The sender employee's profile to that connected app. complaint. In case of any problem, they can create a case on the portal using contact us. And if the receiver want to create a case, they can get to the web, create a case. I assume they are less than 5,000 per day to reduce spam. Put the reCAPTCHA on the case form. Regardless of the source, the complaint should be visible to sender's employee. So we are going to use a trigger on case to populate the sender user contact lookup, which is a custom field. Why do I recommend a trigger? Because case usually get heavily used over time, and we may as well put a trigger framework upfront. I recommend the nonprofit NPS standard package ND. Nonprofit NPS standard NPSP trigger framework where you are allowed to have only one trigger, but you can register different functions in a table, which will be called in order. And the sender also always need to be able to look at that case. So we use a share and set user contact case sender. In a very rare case, when a package is being lost, the complaint should be very rare. This means this part is not large data volume. The complaint should be created automatically based on notification from the shipping system. There we have a force integration from shipping system to MuleSoft. MuleSoft calls REST API to create the case in Salesforce. The complaint request should be assigned to regional complaint team. So here I recommend to use rule-based assignment of cases to regional queues. And the compliance process depends on local regulatory. And here we can accommodate the local variation based using different processes for them, different record type, different page layouts, and make a different entitlement process for them. If the claim was justified, the claim analyst grant a compensation to the customer. This compensation is going to be automatically settled as a part of the next invoice. So we need to send the information to finance system. That's our integration 5. Salesforce use platform event. I considered should we make the user wait for that on? It does not make sense to wait. So platform event send to middleware, send it to financial system. Then when the response come back, middleware use REST API to update Salesforce. Later, a requirement we'll have. We need to when the response come back, we will create a record in a custom object, which is called compensation. We have it in our data model over here when a case has compensation. Invoice and the payment at the end of the month. Oh, sorry, I missed this. If the if the investigation shows that the courier is responsible for the incident, the courier supervisor should get access to the complaint. We're going to give whoever is doing the investigation, we give them a screen flow based quick action to collect their investigation information, and also assign the supervisor to the case team to get access to the case. Also assign the supervisor to be the owner of the compensation record, because later requirement requires that. Invoice and the payment at the end of the month, the financial system should receive each active customer his contracted monthly fee. Any surplus in so this any surplus this means we are sending order information and order product to the financial system. So this is our integration 6. It's a monthly process, so so we can use a batch job to do that. If we send bills on the same day for all customers, then it's monthly process. But I suppose different customers may get bills on the different days, so it can be a nightly process. Anyways, the batch process order information is in Salesforce. Sorry, I wrote in shipping system. Shipping system definitely have the information, but here, if order information is Salesforce, I need to change this to Salesforce. Get order information from Salesforce and send them to financial system to do the calculation and prepare the invoice. Now the invoice PDF generated by the financial system should be available for customer manager directly in the portal. That means we need to create a file on account. So the financial system it will create files, and then the ESB will create files in Salesforce. Sorry for missing that in the integration. Create files in our system, and this is possible LDV. And assume at least the short term, we do not need to worry that if it turns out to be too large, I consider to use AWS S3. Parcel service is may not be a highly profitable business, so S3 is cheap, it's good, and then we consider a future integration with that. And customer manager should be able to save the company payment information directly on the portal, and so we're going to save them into payment methods, which is in our data model. Payment method, and they can later select a payment method they have already saved. Either this information can be used to perform automatic payment, or they can use this to do this to pay manually. Let's look at integration 7 and 8. If they want, when they do manual pay, we collect the credit card information without saving them, send them directly through MuleSoft to financial system, which should tokenize that and give us back the token to create the payment method if they want the payment method to be saved. Otherwise, we just do a pay and do not save the payment method. And if they choose automatic pay, we should mark that in Salesforce, as well as financial system, and then monthly the ESB job will get information from Salesforce IO AutoPay, and then tell then inform the financial system automatically charge them, and then success or failure get back to Salesforce. And if it is a failure, let's look at the process over here. If auto payment is a failure, the trigger 8 is going to create a platform event and send it back to Salesforce. We have a flow subscribing to the event to notify the customer manager and account manager using email alert with the proper language. The customer manager can retry payment manually, so we can send in the email, send them a deep link to the invoice page. Invoice is an external object, so because we need an invoice to look up to account, so this implies we need to this integration that's implied over here. From Salesforce, we need to synchronize account and contact using a batch job to financial system, and shipping system need the customer information also and the address, so we need to sync the information. I'm not sure about the parcel tracking, but this is something to clarify with the with the SME, the product owner. And here I assume Salesforce is the master of a record. Later the case tell us that it is. And if the invoice has not been paid in time, the ability to create a parcel is suspended. So this is another integration from financial system to us. MuleSoft uses REST API to update the account payment status, and we use a validation rule to enforce it that they cannot create a new order anymore. And migration, data migration requirement, and I have a slide on that to look at the overall architecture of that. So we have the data migration team need the environment just like other people. They have a pro sandbox for development. They use a partial sandbox for integration, and they use a full sandbox staging for performance testing, rehearsal, to also create the reports and dashboards for the business people to do data governance. And in production, these reports and the dashboards are still available for people to check. And when they rehearsal, when they do the development and rehearsal, they should accumulate all the manual steps they need to do in a playbook. Turn off and on automations, turn off and on auto sync, sharing sync, and all the checks who need to do what need to be in a playbook. And as for the technical architecture, Salesforce, MuleSoft is the middleware between Salesforce and the database. All the sending systems send the data into input schema, which has many tables. Then we use stored procedures to transform the data, standardize them, and dedupe, filter them into a master schema. And then we have a Salesforce schema, which create views, our materialized views, precisely matching the object structure in Salesforce, and load the data from this schema using MuleSoft bulk API to Salesforce. So now let's look at what we get from specific system from the Cinder portal. We always create users first, and we create a user, and then from there we get account, location account, and we sort the accounts, and then we load the contact. And I recommend to use external ID to speed up the loading, so that we do not need to go back to get the ID to build the lookup from account to from contact to account. Did I mention that we should sort contacts by account to avoid locking? And then I assume we for existing users, we also want to welcome them. So we create a customer user users role and create users. Creating users is can be done via API. From the financial system, we need to create opportunities. We need this past data. We need the summarization. So we use ETL to do all the hard work, and eventually create the opportunity and opportunity product in Salesforce. And the implied integration is that we need to create the products and a price book over there. All invoices from the last 12 months should be visible, and visible does not mean we need to migrate into Salesforce. So here we use an external object using Salesforce Connect. MuleSoft can implement all data too. Also with filter, we can filter by user ID and time. How do we pass user ID over there? It's especially for customer community users. They cannot set up their own external data data authentication. So we pass their user ID as a custom HTTP header on the external data source. There's no S. Parcel locker information need to be duplicated in Salesforce, so that will be asset. And UPL is aware of the location in different countries that are stored in different data format. Some of them use lat-long, some of them use locker address. We need to ETL to do the standardization enrichment. Enrichment would need ESB also if we go to use web services. But if we can get bulk data, then ETL we can do the job with in the database. As I should look up to account and a contact and a contact. And a contract asset is covered by a contract. So we need to back out the IDs of the account and contract to build up the relationship. Account we have external ID, but the contract we do not have external ID yet. Accessibility, visibility requirement. Customers need LinkedIn, so that's social sign-on. We create a OS provider for that, and custom the registration handler, and existing users in their welcome email in their proper language. We should give them the existing user linking URL so that they can create the connection. And compliant analysts, they use a record type of case to handle theirs, and we use criteria-based sharing to share contact per country for them. Couriers should have only access to relevant countries pickup location. This is territory management. We create a territory model, create individual territories, and associate the territory, each territory with rules, accounts, and users. Courier supervisor should access to compensation granted to satisfy coordinators. They are the owner of the compensation record, and the integration 5 is modified to bring the information back. Account manager can see all customer from his country. So we use per country criteria-based sharing. Why use criteria-based? Well, if people travel against across country, you do not need to worry about ownership of records if they move to another country to work. And they only able to modify their own customers' account details. They are the account owner. Salesforce is going to be a source of truth. So they are the source of truth for commercial accounts. So any change must be replicated into financial system. We already talked about the integration 9, and if the account manager tries to export report with more than 25 rows, we should block them with shield. Reporting a requirement. Customer manager should be able to see their usage of parcel and order pickup in the current month compared to contract agreement. So we needed a UTL job to put the contract amount in the in order custom fields, and then they can create reports on order and order product. VP of HR would like to see a list of couriers with the total cost of compensation generated by them, report on compensation and the case user, monthly trend of number of packages addressed to Parcel Locker in the last year by parcel type. This is a large data volume. We recommend use Tableau CRM. So right as EA courier should be able to see their homepage while FAME using a dashboard, top 10 from a report category. Manager need to report on expected revenue using sales forecast, sales cloud functionality. Sales manager need a report of all their customers with unpaid voices. They would be able to predict the likelihood. I assume Einstein Analytics would have this functionality. Now we come to project and development requirement. Overall, we have the steering committee on the top to make the strategic decisions and decide business values. We have the COE with a small PMO, and then all the other teams report to there. They have in the past have lost data. We're going to use Shield. We can also have a security SME to make sure everything is compliant. They would like to engage with a design agency, so we build a native app for them. The IT department have a bunch of things, but we need the steering committee decision based on business values to decide what goes in, what goes first. UPR would like a recommendation on how to increase system adoption. We have a COE with change management training. We train champions to champion Salesforce, and we implement DevOps to automate the deployment process. We were going to use design review and approval to make sure the countries do not do their own things without standard best practice. UPL would like to outsource the custom development to a consulting company, put in contract term, stability of team, and recommend to hire a program architect to be stable, train our own admin team for long time support, operation, and modification. For the DevOps, I recommend to use a Copilot tool, which connected to every environment using OS web-based flow and save the refresh token. Git is the source system development environments. We have a pool of them to give to users. This is Dev Sandbox. CI is Dev Pro. SIT is Dev Pro. UAT is a full sandbox. Then we have production for unit test. We use Apex unit test. For UI testing, we use Selenium. For functional test, I recommend AI-based tool Eggplant to create automated testing. Copilot can drive all of this automated testing. When people create, people have stories and create metadata. Metadata get checked into post-tree branch. Post-tree branch is always on the sandbox branch. Between every two sandbox here, there's a deployment branch. That's how the pipeline is organized. And as for if there are hard fixes, Copilot is good at back promoting the changes to all the way to development boxes. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Charlie, thank you very
Yes.
much. Can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you for the presentation. We are going to resume now with the Q&A. So I'm going to start, then Lawrence, then Jakub. So let me start at the beginning. Can you please justify one more time for me your org strategy?
Yes. The org strategy. That the primary this case itself gives us a unified process. So this is an indication that one org can actually accommodate these nations, and there's no indication of too much data volume or any special policy that does not allow us to put things in one org. And when we put things in one org, all the solutions are by default shared. So there is synergy. And deployment process, you only need to deploy to one org. And then as architect, we also need to expect the growth of a company in the next few years. And for that, when they expand into B2B, it's hard to imagine a parcel company does not deliver parcel across countries. So when we need to do that, a single org, it will have much more strength. So as a result, I recommend a single org strategy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's just assume that for regulatory requirements, you have to have one org, multiple orgs, a multi-org strategy. What would change in your solution? What implications would you see?
If we move to multi-org, first we need to change governance, and we need to have a common governance body, and then each country need to have their own body. And as for the DevOps process, we can share standard and best practice. Those things we can share. In the solution, wherever we need the data from multiple orgs, we need to use Einstein Analytics. Local reports are not available, but Einstein Analytics does have connectors to multiple orgs. And we need to set up single sign-on in a way well, we can share the same IDP, which will serve as the hub for a hub-spoke model for single sign-on. And what else? We do need we would need different Scrum teams for different countries' development, and also change management team.
Okay. Thank you very much. Can you walk me through how in your single org strategy, how you separate different business processes from each other? Like
separate different business processes from each other. The one place where we do clearly get a requirement that the client compliance process depend on local regulatory. So that is case management. For case management, we can create a different support process per country, and a different record type per country, different page layout per country, and a different process entitlement process, different entitlement process per country. That should be able to accommodate the variation. And also, of course, we have per country queue of cases.
Yeah, thank you very much. And then Lawrence.
Okay, thanks, Johann. Thanks, Charlie. Could you just move to your system landscape, please?
Yes. Oh, sorry.
So here you've suggested routing the ETL through MuleSoft to move data into Salesforce. Can you explain why you've recommended that approach?
My practical project experience suggests that to find relational database talent, it's relatively easy, and that they have deep expertise. They are highly productive in the environments that they are familiar with. Oracle is more than 90% of the market. So find Oracle people to do this transformation using stored procedures is very efficient and easy to staff, and to find.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. So just to be more specific, so so you suggested using ESB as sort of in terms of brokering the integration. You mentioned using the bulk API from MuleSoft, but why would you do that rather than loading the data directly from the ETL tool into Salesforce?
Good, thank you. The ESB has a Salesforce connector, which make it convenient to set up use bulk API with Salesforce.
Okay, and so you're suggesting using the ETL tool which doesn't have a connector? Is there something specific you got in mind?
I'm using Oracle database.
Oh, I see. Okay, just a raw Oracle database.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Jakub.
Hey, thank you for your presentation. I would like to ask you, do you see any risks or you made any assumptions about your solution which are worth to be stated?
One solution, one assumption I made is that the parcel tracking system, they can change their UI. They can use our use Canvas app to make their UI available. And
okay, and what about the risks related to this project? Do you see any of them?
Excuse me, could you please repeat?
Like, are there any risks are related to this project?
Yes.
I can.
Yes, there are 10 countries, 10 languages for people to collaborate across 10 countries. Is not an easy thing, but the European people have been collaborating each other quite successfully. So, but in our governance body, we do need to pay attention to that. That's one of the things.
Okay, and in this case, let's say, what about the volume of data? Do you consider it as a potential challenge, or according to the number of records which you find in the scenario, it should work without any additional, I don't know, considerations?
Maybe I missed. Do we have any concrete number of customers in this scenario?
I'm assuming that yes, we have some number of customers.
Yes, in one place. I calculated the per. I have a spreadsheet which calculated that. Sorry, let me find it. So the center employee should be able to check the tracking status of this. An average company sends between 100 and 150 parcels per month. If we assume, 150 multiplied by 12 months, if they have 10 locations, and then we need to keep data for 5 years, that's 90,000 records per company. So if we have thousands of companies, that's a very large amount of data.
Okay, thank you. And in this case, do you have any strategy for handling all these large data volume problems?
Yes. Okay. So we turn to our data model. All this transaction data should be archived once the deal is over, and also case should be archived to a data warehouse using ETL ETL job, our platform, and what else is LDV, and entitlement, maybe LDV also. We can share, since the entitlement, we only have several standard ones, we may share them also. And the private account and the contacts, when they become inactive, we can archive them also. And when the data is on platform, we should make sure our so-called list view and the reports have selectivity and use indexes. And
okay, thank you.
Yeah, if we have fat tables, case have the potential to become a fat table, and we should use a skinny table.
Sure. Okay, thank you. Johann?
Thank you very much. let's go back to the risks. You suggest mobile solution, native solution. Let's start first. Do you see any risk implicated by this mobile solution?
Yes, and the mobile developer is in high demand. We got to staff them. And then second, they are getting a design form to design the UI, which means we cannot leverage anything. We cannot leverage the UI we develop in Salesforce, and so all the UI need to be developed. So this mobile development, the primary cost is not even development; it's a discovery process. Exactly how you want to use this mobile app, and the testing process. You need to test that in all the platform you need to support, and also release it to the stores.
Okay. And you talk about the native mobile app. Is there any alternative to using a native mobile app?
Yes, a reactive mobile would be able to have one code base to support multiple platforms and also perform well. That's supported by our mobile SDK.
Okay, thank you very much, Lawrence.
Thank you.
Okay, so there's a couple of parts of your solution where you recommended using Salesforce Shield. Could you just talk in a little bit more depth around the features that you'll be using from Shield?
Okay, one feature is encryption. We can encrypt many standard fields as well as custom fields, and we can also encrypt files. And that's one set of features. Another set of features, if you can set.
Sorry, just on the encryption. So if we're encrypting, are there any limitations to what we can do with those fields once they're encrypted?
Some standard fields, I forgot them, but some standard fields can be encrypted. That means others cannot, and also we cannot encrypt formula fields.
Okay. Okay, and for a custom field, so I think you mentioned tax ID. If we are encrypting a custom field, is there anything that we need to be aware of that is not then possible with that field?
Yeah, if we encrypt the text ID, that's a common field people search for a company. That's a unique identifier. So I would recommend to use deterministic encryption so that you can still search by text ID.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool, thanks. And sorry, I interrupted you. You were mentioning other components of Shield.
Yeah, you have logging. You can check your log to see whether you have any data leak, and you can also make rules there to prevent people to creating reports like the one we have, more than 25 rows. And
okay,
yeah.
With the logs, how do you access that data?
With logs, this API they provide, they allow you to pull the data using Python script or a car script or a car command line can do that also.
Okay, and so is that in your solution you recommending exposing that data through one of these custom scripts, or their on-platform features you'd use? Anything closer to Salesforce which might help?
Anything closer to Salesforce? Oh yeah. Of course, Einstein Analytics. The out of box they provide you a set of Einstein Analytics for you to look at what is going on in your org. Okay, and since you mentioned that remind me one thing I missed over here. So they had leaks of customer data and extracted from UAT org. So for this, I'm recommending Salesforce Data Mask.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Jakub?
Hey, I would like to ask you to open page number 9.
Page number 9.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and exactly here. Take a look. You mentioned that you are suggesting to use territory management, right?
Yeah.
But if you can open now your roles hierarchy slide, diagram.
Yes.
You have roles per region and per postal code. So I would like to understand why do you need to have these roles together with territory management, or why you decided for this solution?
Let me think about this. So I have to look at the requirements first. Postal code. Larger regions might also be subdivided by postal codes, key accounts in each country. So larger regions can divide it by this. Yes, since you mentioned it, this can be territory also.
Okay. And by the way, what is your sharing settings on accounts? Are they publicly visible?
I beg your pardon, would you mind to repeat the question?
If you can go to your data model.
Yes.
Data model, please. Yeah, because what is missing here for me is information. What are the OWD, so sharing settings about objects? And for example, I'm not sure if accounts are private or public. And
thank you for asking. I forgot to read the legend. OWD for both internal and external are private by default, and unless I mark a relationship as MD, it's lookup.
Okay, that's clear. Thank you. Okay, and it brings me to another question, because if accounts are private, I would like to understand how your couriers see accounts for which they are going to make the pickup in the next day.
Thank you. The courier, they would get one of these orders, and order access does not imply account access. So we need to give the courier access to the account. Is that in accessibility requirement part?
I would assume that, you have the whole part about couriers picking up parcels from the pickup points, and like, even if it's not a specific point about this, it must be a holistic solution which allows them to make this pickup operation.
Thank you. You're meeting your customer. You do not know them. It's a problem. So when you're assigned to work on order, I could consider Apex sharing when you're assigned an order, but Apex sharing for standard object is really tough because you're not allowed to create a custom reason. So I would consider on the couriers mobile app to create a LWC solution for them to show account information with order. The Apex can run the Apex. LWC, they use a mobile app, so they have their own AI, but we can create an API for them, which where the Apex runs without sharing in system mode. That should satisfy their need.
Okay, thank you. Johann?
Thank you very much. My next question is about your sandbox and governance strategy. Can you please go to the slide?
Yes.
So, good. Can you first walk me through your branching strategy? You mentioned you use.
Yes, here is the Corvetto branching strategy. For every sandbox in the pipeline, there's a branch. And when you develop a story from a sandbox, you are on a story branch. Now, to merge changes from one sandbox to another, Corvetto create a deployment branch for you, which is a combination of your the feature branches that you include in that deployment. And then once you create a deployment branch here, it will create another deployment here, another deployment here. That's the branching strategy used by Corvetto.
Okay. Then following up there, sometimes you have very urgent issues which have to be fixed very fast. Do you follow the same strategy with the same sandboxes, or do you have an alternative in mind?
Okay, so there are two type of hot issues. One is in UAT with Corbeto. If any story is not ready to, if something is already happening in production, you have to fix it. You can have a hot fix environment, fix it, and deploy to UAT and deploy to production. With automation, it can be quick, but we are not going to go without testing.
Okay.
And after we do that, we do when we get to UAT, we do back promotion to the earlier stages.
Okay, so from which code base does the hotfix branch Sandbox or hotfix branch feed from? From UAT or from production?
When we create a Sandbox, we create it from production, and the corresponding Git branch for that Sandbox is also created from production branch.
Okay, but how do we prevent developers overwriting the fix with their changes from development sandboxes? Let's say the issue was in Apex class create contact, and there's a developer currently also working on create contact Apex class. How do we prevent the development once it's sent to production from overriding the fix we did with hotfix?
Yeah, thank you. If on the same pipeline, if someone else is working on the same class, Corbeto would give you a warning. And then if someone work on a hot fix and put it through UAT to production, you are also going to, once you get to UAT once you get to production, you should back promote that to every deployment environment.
Thank you very much. Okay, that's it. Lawrence?
Thanks. So I'm just looking at the requirements for complaints. So can you just talk us through the process for a member of the public submitting a complaint, please?
Yes. We have a public website. That's in the landscape. So we are going to put the website is going to have we're going to use a Web2Case to create a HTML form and put it on that website and style it. And so anyone who can get to the public website can create a case using the form using Web2Case. Does that answer?
And then one of the requirements is, regardless of source, the complaint should be visible for the sender's employees in the portal. Can you explain how that would happen?
Oh, okay. So let me see. Regardless of the source, the complaint should be visible for the senders. Oh, okay. So the senders employees. Oh, the senders employees. All the employees, not only one individual sender. So I thank you for the question. I did not solve this problem, did I? So so instead of sharing through contact, we need to share through account. So instead of a sender, well, this can be instead of a contact, it'll be an account. User.
Okay, and just actually, I said okay. Thanks for the correction. That's useful to see. But I was actually looking at a slightly different side of this. So how do we identify the sender?
Oh, how do we identify the sender? So when they put in the complaint, they would tell us which parcel is lost. And based on the parcel lost, we would know who sent it. And based on that, we would know the account that sent it. Is that the right assumption? Is that a reasonable assumption?
Where are those details of the parcel held?
Where are the details of the parcel held? Oh, great question. Let me think about that. Details of the parcel. Okay, so there's a hidden integration over here. So parcel tracking system have the parcel, and we do not have the parcel. When they come here to open a case, we need to, once we have the case, we need to go to the parcel system to find out what what is the sender of this parcel, and then populate the account over there. So there's a hidden integration. Should I draw the integration here?
You can just talk through just to explain which mechanism and pattern will be used.
Yeah, since the case has already come in, we do not need the customer to wait there for this, and the case has come in. We can use a after save flow on case to send a platform event to the parcel tracking system to get the information, account information of this parcel. Once we get the information, once the MuleSoft get the information, it can use REST API to update the case for us.
Okay, great, thank you. Jakub.
Hey, I would like to ask you to stay on page number 6, if you can scroll a little bit up.
Okay, sure.
Awesome, please take a look. First of all, on the second point, we have information that the shipping system generates a PDF file with the label. And I would like to ask you to repeat how the pickup point manager is going to download this PDF with this label.
Okay, let me read the
Sure.
Okay, the new parcel should be registered in that for each registered parcel. The shipping system generate a PDF for each parcel. Okay, with label, and which must then print this by the pickup point. How they're going to print this out? So we need to make the PDF file available to them. So now the question is, how do we make the PDF available to them? So we attach the PDF file to their order and make sure we create the content document link and set the visibility to be all so that they can see it. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. And I've got a follow-up question, because on the next point, we have information that the courier is going to collect all parcels from the pickup point. And I would like you to walk me through this integration number 3. How often, especially, is it like real-time integration or on the nightly basis, we are going to set these orders for the courier?
Okay, so integration number 3. Let me open that slide. I read the requirement now. During the next business day, the courier is going to collect all parcels from all pickup points belonging to his geographic area. And EPS estimated that each courier is going to visit every day between 20 to 20 locations. So this is a very large amount of locations. Would you mind to tell me your question again?
Okay, I would like to understand, because you have information that this integration number 3 is solving the fact that generally in this route optimization system, you prepare information what exactly our courier is going to do in the next working day, which location he's going to visit. And I would like to understand how exactly it works. So how it's possible that this courier log into Salesforce and see his schedule for the whole day?
Oh, okay. So the route should be available on their mobile app, since they are mostly on road when they work. So that need to be available. Their route need to be available on the mobile app. So to make that available, we do not have to get the route information to Salesforce, because we have MuleSoft. We can make the route optimization system API available in MuleSoft and use that in our mobile app. Does that answer your question?
Okay, that makes sense. And the last follow-up question is about what happens when you cancel the parcel, because we have information on the next point that sender cannot cancel the parcel anymore after the QR code is scanned. So it means that, for example, in the same business day, just 1 hour before courier pick up my parcel, I can still cancel it. How is it going to be handled?
Thank you for the question. Apparently, I did not solve that. When a courier takes the parcel, he scans QR code, and after QR code has been scanned, the sender cannot cancel the parcel. So let's say cancel the parcel. You go to the community. You go to your order and said, "I cancel this." Okay. Now to prevent that, we need to have a validation rule if the QR code is already scanned. But how does Salesforce know that the QR code is already scanned. So apparently from the mobile app, when the QR code is scanned, the QR code would encode the information about the order. The mobile app can call an API to update the order status of that order to make it to be scanned, and then our validation rule will validate on that field. If it is scanned, you cannot cancel anymore. Does that answer your question?
It's a good explanation about how preventing works, but my question was about how the canceling works. I mean, what happens after somebody cancels the parcel and how the courier is going to still have the optimal and up-to-date schedule? Because if you can take a look on page number 4, we have their information that route optimization system, UPL is concerned that B2B pickups may require more flexibility due to the potential last-minute cancellations.
Okay, is that on page 4? So let me.
On page 4, yes, exactly.
Page 4. Oh, okay.
Exactly here, yes.
Which generate the route for upcoming days on a nightly basis. UPI is concerned that the B2B pickup may require more flexibility due to potential last-minute cancellation. Okay, so now apparently our native mobile app need to have some kind of push notification from. Now, push notification is not good enough. We need to change the route. So when the route is changed, we need to push the change from the optimization system to let me close this, to the from the optimization system to the mobile app to let the courier know that is canceled. You do not go through that route anymore. So there's a dynamic route update from. Yeah,
I would like to summarize. So this optimization is going to be handled in the mobile app. Do I understand correctly?
If let me be more careful to walk through this. Okay, so user cancel client cancel an order using Salesforce, and then Salesforce need an integration, need to tell using platform event, send that through MuleSoft to the route optimization system. The route optimization system will optimize the route again. So now the route has changed, and then when the driver, the carrier is on the way, they do not care that the route is changed. But once they stop, they open their mobile and open that route page. The route page should get a new route from the route optimization system to show them the new optimized route. Does that overall process make sense? Answer your question.
Okay, yeah, I understand the solution, but I have some concerns about the sentence which we have on the screen. Optimization, which generates the route for the upcoming day on a nightly basis. So what will happen if the route optimization system is not able to handle this recalculation in the real time?
Oh, okay.
What would you then suggest to do?
What if they cannot handle it in real time? Then we need to give the route optimization system a tech refresh. And if their current infrastructure does not support it, I would recommend that to move to AWS or Heroku. And given the tight integration between Heroku and the Salesforce, using Heroku would be recommended. Does that answer?
Okay, yeah, that answers my questions. Thank you. Johann?
Okay.
Hello, thank you very much. Just a quick question. Can you walk me through your test data strategy?
Oh, thank you for the question. For test strategy, for Sandbox, we copy and mask from production. For development, we save test data as CSV files and load them as static resources and load them into using Apex. We do not need to put those static resources. We do not need to deliver those to production, but we can save them in a separate branch. But Corpado can drive the Apex loading of the data. And if we need to copy some data from production to one of these boxes, we want to make sure the data is masked.
Yeah. On the topic of testing, what is your test strategy? In who tests what in which sandbox?
Thank you very much for the question. Okay, in development environment, is you need to test. The developers do that, and then in CI, they also develop the Selenium automation test. In CI, we run all the tests automatically.
Can I ask you there? So for every feature we develop, we create also Selenium test?
No, we do that selectively. Selenium test is very expensive to create.
So for which cases do we create automatic tested in Selenium?
On the most frequently used screens and on new features.
Okay, so who tests? So again, in your CI, how do we test new features?
How do we test new features? We have automated. We have unit test created in dev, run automatically in CI.
No, we just talked about the new feature, which is not part of the Selenium.
New feature. If a new feature is a critical feature with frequently used UI, we would develop the feature with Selenium test.
So you test me for every new feature we create a Selenium test?
No, no. Selenium in practice is very expensive, and also highly technical people can create that.
So how do we test the features which are not in Selenium? So again, we have feature A.
Okay, well, good question. So apparently, I put eggplant testing over here. We need the business and analysts to be able to create tests. So we need to create the tests in earlier environment, but we run all of them in UAT.
Okay, but so you do not have a QA team in your strategy?
The QA team, okay, every Scrum team. Sorry, not writing that. So every Scrum team would have business and analyst with developers as well as QA. So they work closely together, and the BA can create the eggplant tests. The developers have to create the Selenium tests. UAT, they are the business people who certify your development.
So you don't have a dedicated QA team?
My experience has been mixing to have a Scrum team which have BA developers and a test team together to be responsible to an epic, and we have multiple Scrum teams working together. So the test team, they technically they associate with each other. It's a matrix, but they each tester work with an epic team.
Okay, then continue. So in the CI, what is in the CI tested? We have the automatic testing with Selenium, as far as I understand, correct?
Yeah.
So what happens then?
We have, if there's any error, we notify the developer, and then they need to fix it. Also, Apex and triggers need 75% coverage, and I recommend it to be way over that. If you just get 75 in operating environment, you may not get that. Does that address your question?
Okay. And in the higher environments like UAT, or what is tested there?
That is functionality test. It's user acceptance. So you have the users who represent your client to test that, to make sure they can test it. The stories should be written in a way that the test criteria is over there, and also eggplant tests are used over there to make sure the UI works.
So do users do regression testing and end-to-end testing?
Regression testing. Thank you for asking regression testing. Regression testing should happen at UAT. The common mistake is that we usually focus testing the new features. That's what the UAT team do. But we want to make sure we test the commonly used features also with automated eggplant tests. Thank you. Does that answer?
Is there anything, any tests which happen in production?
A smoke test. Once you get to production, you have to make sure everything makes sense, and you do some tests over there, limited.
Okay, who does the smoke test?
It's the user's representative.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'd like to understand a bit more about what your recommendation is for taking payment details. Could you talk through that process and specifically in relation, and could you specifically call out any risks and how you mitigated those?
Okay, risks and mitigate. Okay, so payment integration with the users sitting at the UI waiting. You want to use real time. It's real time, so it's request and response. And we wanted to use two-way SSL to make sure, because this is payment credit card information, so that the whole path is secure. And both Salesforce and MuleSoft support two-way SSL, and you just need to ask Salesforce to enable it for your mutual authentication. And that's the path. And another is that you never save credit card information in Salesforce. You send it to the financial system, which tokenize it for you. You save the tokens in your payment method.
Okay, that credit card information. So that credit card information is entered directly into the LWC. Is that right?
Yes, that's how like a popular Apex exchange paging charging does it also. It's a LWC, but the data is directly sent to through middleware to the backend to financial system, not saved in Salesforce.
Okay, and
can I ask there? Sorry, so the financial system stores the credit card numbers, correct?
What is going on in the financial system, we do not know. Usually, financial system would have some kind of integration with payment gateway to do that for us.
So why do you send it to the financial system first?
Their assumption. I'm assuming that the financial system have integration with a payment gateway. If not, then I would recommend a payment gateway. Apex package like charging does an excellent job to add this new capability to the system.
Do you want to do you want to change your solution to use a package instead, or do you want to continue going through this? Okay,
so if the assumption is that financial system does not have a current capability to take a credit card, then I would recommend to buy an app exchange product called Chargent, and also rent a payment gateway to support online payment.
Okay, and so where does that leave you in terms of integrations?
In terms of integrations, you install the Chargent package. You give people you authenticate the backend of Chargent. You authenticate people to use it. You put the Lightning components on the order page for people, on the invoice page for people to pay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, yeah, and it looks like we are out of time for the Q&A session.